The next call is a split call. I call Eugenie Sage, 5 minutes.
Tēnā koe, Mr Chair. Thank you. Pleased to take a call on the Local Government Act 2002 Amendment Bill number 2. Now, local government's got a critical role in ensuring a democratic society. It provides a check and a balance on the power of central government, and the Green Party supports effective democratic processes at that local level and governance arrangements. But we don't think that this government trusts local government, and we see it in this bill. It continues the centralisation of executive power at the expense of local democracy and at the expense of the public having a say in decisions which affect them. And while I would like to be confident, as a previous Labor Speaker, that we've seen an end to forced amalgamations, the powers that this bill gives the Minister to direct the Local Government Commission are quite significant, and that's one of the reasons that the Green Party is opposing it. We've got the Local Government Commission, as my colleague Jan Logie noted, being appointed by ministers, and in clause 16 we've got the Commission getting a notice from the Minister which sets out the Minister's expectations as to how the Commission will perform its functions and exercise its powers. The Commission then has to take account of the Minister's expectations in developing its statement of intent and its work programme. It's got to report to the Minister on the extent to which it's met his or her expectations, and the Minister can write to the Local Government Commission and direct that it have regard to any relevant government policy. It can review the Commission, how it's operating and how it's performing, when in our view it would be better if Parliament did that, and the Commission has got to report annually to the Minister. So what we're getting with this power now for the Local Government Commission to initiate reorganisation proposals and for the Commission to be under the thumb of the Minister is effectively central government promoting its amalgamation agenda and using the Local Government Commission to do that. And I think we saw that in Scott Simpson's speech when he talked essentially about New Zealand having too much local government. So National obviously wants big centralised councils where there are fewer people making the decisions. So it's not an end to amalgamation. It's giving the Commission significantly more powers to do that through initiating proposals. One of our other major concerns is the reduction in public participation, because the public's not going to have the certainty of there being a poll on reorganisation proposals. Because if those proposals are initiated by councils and the councils agree, there is no need for a poll, and the previous provision for electors, or 10% of electors in a district, to be able to request a poll is being removed. So certainly polls have to occur if the Local Government Commission is doing the amalgamation or reorganisation, but not if councils are doing it. And we agree with the Mayor of Wellington that encouraging councils to do this while circumventing a poll is wrong and isn't in the public interest. The Minister is also wrong in claiming that there are checks and balances on the powers of the Local Government Commission. The bill, through removing much of the work of the Commission from the Official Information Act, is actually making its work much more opaque. It prevents the Local Government and Official Information and Meetings Act from applying to any documents that have been created or received by the Commission in the course of an investigation, a resolution of a dispute, the determination of an appeal, or an amalgamation proposal. So that, Mr Speaker, is actually reducing transparency, reducing a significant check. The other major area where we've got a lot of concern is around council-controlled organisations and the corporatisation agenda that is potentially behind this bill. The Local Government and Environment Select Committee recently considered a petition raising significant concerns about the accountability of, or lack of accountability of, CCOs in Auckland, and that is despite the fact that there are more requirements on those CCOs in terms of being accountable, and the Auckland Council being able to set additional accountability requirements than applies elsewhere in the country. So, Mr Speaker, we have major concerns about this bill and we oppose it.
Cool.